book talk girlies who
Yes, and we
I'm
probably missed.
seeing.
Yes, we are loving the book
You
talk.
guys are showing
over here.
up. Hello to all the new people watching for book talk.
Yeah,
This is so exciting.
I love this.
All right.
Where's the book?
The book is here. I'm halfway through it. I am on page 355. This is delightful. I'm very much enjoying this, and it fits our color scheme very well.
I was gonna say that when you pulled it up, I was like, "This is perfect."
I
But
also obviously we've been changed, like it's like Akotar, and then it's like Akomath, which I keep saying in my brain, Mist and Fury. This is War, which is crazy.
yes,
Did she do that on purpose? Like,
maybe.
okay. I didn't know if that was like a well-known thing.
I mean, I'm sure it is. Someone actually commented on the video and said Jordyn has a very good poker face.
I saw that, and you
Because
did.
thank you.
I
Because
was watching that back.
thank you. I was really, and it was killing me on the inside. But yeah, so for those who may be new, I've already finished the series, and Sam is about literally halfway through it, almost like exactly. So I'm living for her updates throughout, but I want her to have the experience I had. I knew not a single thing. I didn't know the plot. Obviously, I knew it was fantasy. I didn't know the plot. I didn't know the characters. I had no idea what was coming. So I want Sam to have like the most exact experience because it was absolutely unreal.
Which I have been. I would
Good.
like to say. Like,
Good.
I don't know anything that's happening in any of these books. So I guess I'll let you know where I'm at.
Yes,
Right?
please.
Okay. Wait. I was reading this on the bus, and then I had to stop reading because I started to feel ill.
That always
Okay.
happens.
Oh, they just showed up at the summer court because Hybern is attacking. So what we know thus far, spoilers!
Spoilers!
In case you guys didn't know, Book Talk always contains spoilers no matter what.
Yes.
But we will just throw that out in the beginning before I keep going. We just found out that Elaine is a seer, which I kind of had a feeling when she was just like saying mumbo jumbo, and I was just like, she's saying this for a reason. And like everyone's been focusing on Nesta, which we have discovered is kind of like death, which is fucking crazy and I love because it very much encapsulates her character as a whole. But I was like, why are we focusing on Nesta when like we have Elaine too? Like she came out of the cauldron too. Something's got to be going on with her, which is why she's like all quiet and weird and mysterious. And then when she was like saying all those random things and Nesta and Feyre go down to the library to start figuring out things with the wall. And we obviously have this like random pit of like darkness that something is living down and that they don't bother and it doesn't bother them, I guess, unless you go down there. And Hybern people show up and they're what?
I remember that part.
Oh, I was reading that this morning on the bus. And I was like literally like, thank God it was like half an empty bus and the man next to me was sleeping and I was literally like I was like, "Oh my God." Like it was bananas. But yeah, so they're like looking for them and they go down to this pit and then like they can't figure out what's going on. Also, the bone carver is back in the mix. They went to the bone carver to like ask him if he would fight in this war that they're figuring out with Hybern, and he asked for a mirror from the Court of Nightmares, and they can't get the mirror unless they look in the mirror, which could be very, 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 very bad. But now this thing, whatever it is, I don't know what it is yet. I'm guessing we find out at some point what it is, but whatever's down there wants company. And I'm like, are we going to bring the bone carver out and put it down there? Or are we going to find something else? Is Feyre going down there? She's got a freaking new tattoo now because she made a bargain with it. Like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm happy to be here. And the spice has been real and I've been loving it.
Spice is real.
There's so much more and I'm just like, can't even put into words what else is going on in this book because there's so much.
Do you have this? Because while I was reading that one, I was like, this is my favorite book. This is my favorite book. Because it felt like everything and up to where, like, it just felt like everything was finally like clicking and it was
Right.
like moving and grooving. It was like one thing after another after another. So I loved it. Back in my reflection, once I finished the series, I realized Mist and Fury is 100% my favorite. Just, it was like the evolution of everything. And like you watched like them fall in love and like all the fun shit. So I loved it. But this book is fucking nuts.
No, this is it's much more intense because there's a lot more like war and politics going
Yes.
on, which is very interesting. I'm still loving this book, but I do think at the end of this, A Court of Mist and Fury will be my favorite just because of the slow flirtatious burn that was Feyre and Rhys.
Yeah.
I guess we also, if I'm going back towards the beginning of this book, because this is the first time we're talking about this, right?
Oh, Wings of
Yeah.
Ruin?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I believe so. I think the last time you were like just starting.
I had just started.
Yeah.
So obviously she fucked over Tamlin, which I was so stoked for. And
Oh, wait, yeah.
her and Lucian go on this like whole journey, which I was kind of expecting because I think last week I did mention that like I think Lucian's gonna be like in the mix somehow because he's Elaine's
did.
mate and like, you know, all this stuff. But the leading up to it, like her everything that she was doing, the seeds she was planting, I was just like, "You are so devilish, Feyre," and I love it, and I love that you're doing it to fucking Tampon because I fucking hate him. He's the worst. But like Lucian is on this resurgence arc right now because he also just left. Before they went to the summer court, he just left to go like figure stuff out with the wall and like go. Oh no, he went to go find the missing queen. The queen that's ill, but not ill. She's like a I don't know, like a phoenix or something. I don't really know what's going on there, but she's like a fiery bird and also a woman. Again, I'm like trying to remember everything that I've read in the last week.
No, you don't understand. Last week when you were like, I think Lucian's gonna like redeem himself and everything, I was sitting here like,
yeah. It's like every time I try to predict something, I'm like not even looking at Jordyn. I have to like look like past her.
Were they, again, spoilers, I mean, I guess we're already in it, but when they like escaped the spring court,
Yeah.
I was like, and then whatever her name is,
Ianthe is how you pronounce it. Fuck her. She's the fucking worst. When she showed up again.
The woat.
The what?
The woat, the worst of all time.
Oh, I was like, are you forgetting the R and the S in that word? Like, what are you saying?
Woat.
Woat. She is the woat. When she showed up, and the fact that you find out that she did in fact have sex with Lucian, and it was like not like he did not consent to it. He did it because it was like his duty. Was like he was like so unhappy about it. And I was like, God, this motherfucker. And then when she's still in the spring court, she's still in the spring court, still putting up this facade, and they're having like some sort of ritual. And Ianthe like starts doing something, and she thinks she's gonna be like the center of attention. And she's like, blessings, prayers, and then Feyre like starts glowing, and she's like struck, like, how dare Feyre like have this moment. And Feyre's just like, I'm not doing anything, I'm just fucking special and you're not. Fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna slam your ham with a fucking boulder and make you do it. And I hate her, and I can't wait till she dies, because I hope she dies. That's me speaking it into existence.
And this is me with my poker face.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, again, I try not to even like look at Jordyn during this segment because I don't even want to like see even like if she's just like looking at me and she just does like a quick like eye twitch or something, and I'm just like, I can't even. I just have to like look past her, like not even.
I'm not even here.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to myself actually.
Yes. Yes.
But yes, I'm so far. This is incredibly, incredibly good. I also like Mist and Fury I enjoyed because of the flirtatiousness between Feyre and Rhys and like their relationship and then how it eventually became them being mates, so on and so forth. There is a much deeper bond in this book that I'm
Mhm.
appreciative of. Like you can tell how much they both love each other and they both do things for the other person. Like when the Raven people from Highburn are like down there and they get like basically almost killed and then Rhys like goes in and like rage kills them basically and his hands are like covered in blood. Like she brings him and she washes his hands, which is a very symbolic. I went to a very like highly literature high school, so like when I read it's like I look for like all stuff like that. The idea of like washing someone's hands is like so symbolic, it's insane. But then he also does stuff with her because she's learning how to fly. That's the other thing, she's learned how to read, now she's fucking learning how to fly. And like she's so sore from like using all these muscles she's never used in her life, and he like runs her a bath and like yes sometimes they get a little like ooh, little intimate and have their little fun time, but like there is sometimes where it's just like they just do it out of love, and I'm
Yes.
like that is so wonderful. And I understand that this man was written by a woman, but it's like what a perfect man.
Yeah.
So perfect and so so hot.
He is the epitome of a man written by a woman.
Literally. And like he is a man slash
Written
Batman. Bat boy. As
the
I've been
most
seeing them people.
powerful High Lord that's ever lived.
Yes, written by a woman.
Written by a woman.
I've actually started like looking at stuff on Etsy that is like merchandise,
Mm.
and I found the most gorgeous t-shirts that's
You
like
sent me one.
yes.
The Bat Boys?
Mhm. Oh my god. I was like I'm going to wait to buy anything until after I'm finished with the books, but I also sent it to Kat and she's like, I feel like she may or may not consider getting it for me as like a gift. So maybe I won't buy anything.
Mm.
But nonetheless, the merchandise that I've been seeing is chef's kiss.
Oh my god, no. I need everything. And now I can't wait till you're done. And I think I said this last week, but so I can fully send you all the TikToks that I want to send you once you know everything.
It is so hard to scroll past them.
I know.
I and like sometimes I will see like ones that I know for a fact like it won't spoil anything. But then at the same time, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have watched that. But like, it didn't spoil anything for me. But I'm like, what if it did? Like, what if I just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, but they're so funny.
They're so
They're so
fucking
clever.
funny. But when you're done, you can do what I did because I scrolled past so many. Because like I feel like I would like if girls even like were like talking about it, I would like it. So I guess all the ones about it started coming up on my For You page, and I would scroll past like all the memes and the joking ones. And then when I finished, I literally searched just like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and they all came up, and I was just scrolling and giggling. And Brian even called me out. He was like, I haven't heard you like laugh at your phone this much in so long. I was like, I feel so seen. Like I get all of these inside jokes. Like they're just spot on.
The one that you sent me, that it was like a small description of the first book, and it was like an illiterate girl fights a giant worm, and I was like, that's the plot of the book.
That is A Court of Thorns and Roses.
It's
Like
literally that entire book. Like you don't know, like everything else that happens before that doesn't even matter.
no.
It's nothing. A literate girl who fights a giant worm.
Yep.
It's but yeah, that's I'm very excited to know everything and be able to have like a full conversation. Like the day that like we have our book talk where we sit down and I've finished Silver Flames, right?
Yes.
I feel like we might just have to have an entire episode dedicated to like going over the entire series as a whole because it's gonna be a lot.
I could not love that idea more if I tried. And I have to pick up my reading because I do want to get to the Throne of Glass series. However, I'm still stuck on that book, The Perfect Marriage.
You're still reading that.
I could not hate this book more if I tried. However, I hate do not finishing more. Like, I need to at least know how it wraps up. Like, the fact that I just like wasted all this time, but this weekend, like by the end of this week, it's gonna be done. But it is just so bad, and I do not recommend it to anyone.
See, I'm the opposite. If I don't like a book, I'm just like, yeet.
I know, I wish I could be. I don't know why I get like a weird sense of guilt.
I
Like,
never finished that Stephen King book. I bought that book, the fairy tale.
oh, and it's so funny. It gets recommended to me all the time, but Stephen King is really, really tough. Maybe now that you're in the fantasy realm. No, okay.
I have tried to read so many Stephen King books. I've only ever finished one, and it was The Body,
Okay.
and that's because it was this big.
Yep.
And I forced myself to finish it because it was so thin. And
See,
I really don't care about this. I never finished, and I know this will upset a lot of people. I never finished 11/22/63. Um, I never finished Fairy Tale. I finished The Body. I did read his memoir in high school, but I don't even know if I barely finished. I might have not even barely finished that. It's like it's just not my style of writing that I enjoy reading. It's
yeah.
very difficult for me to get through, and I'm not also a horror person, as much as you are. Like, that's really not my forte. Um, but yeah, Stephen King's not on my list.
No, and you know, I whenever people say, like, obviously I see both sides. Like, I understand he's one of the greatest authors that ever lived. He's personally like my favorite, but I fully understand why like he is hard to get into. And there are sometimes I'm reading and I love him more than anything. I'm like, pick it up. Like, I don't need to know the time and second that this sub character was born. Like,
Exactly.
but
That's where he loses me.
yes, he goes into so much detail, and I 100% understand, like, that's where he loses people, because also his books are this big, and it's this much detail and then plot. Like,
Yeah.
and, like, I read It, and that book was one of the greatest books I've ever read in my entire life, but it was also a 3-month experience because it was 1,100 pages that just went back and forth between past and future. But I will say it's making me really sad. I haven't read Stephen King since I moved into my apartment because he's the only author that gives me nightmares. And now I'm here alone majority of the time. And I'm like, when I was living with my mommy and she was in the next room reading Stephen King and going to bed, if I was a little freaked out, no big deal. Now it's like I'm backed up to woods. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want
God.
to do that to myself.
I could not do that with where you live and the fact
No.
that, like, the
Yeah,
woods
you
are
know,
right
like,
there.
right? And
Like,
you
I would
know
be so convinced something would come out of there.
exactly. And when I'm not kidding, Stephen King's books give me the heebie. He's so good at horror. He gets it. He knows how to tap in to like your primal fears. I do eat it up, but
But you like that. Like,
I
that's, like,
love
your
it.
genre. Like, you love that horror.
I do. That's why I really think I loved and Wings and Ruin is not horror by any stretch of the imagination, but it is the most war based and like
Yes.
the most action. And I really I that's just my vibe.
Yeah. No, this book is, like, I've never really read a book like this before, like, with as much politics and war in it, but it's like I understand
Mhm.
the politics behind the war, so it's like it's a little bit more interesting. It's like but, like, other things, I just, like I don't know, I don't get that same vibe with, like, other types of books, but these characters are just so well written. I think that's part of it. It's like them explaining it. Like, I'll sit there and listen to Asriel talk for 3 pages about the 2 Draken and Miriam or whoever they are
Yep.
and wherever, and, like, that whole story. I just read that story this morning too with the I forget her name, Nefel, who, like, carries Miriam, like, while she's dying. It's like a whole thing, and I was like, normally this is where I'd get lost, but, like, I need to know what happens next in these books, so I just keep pushing through it.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. And I can't wait to read more. And I know I'm like torturing myself. I'm like, I could just start Throne of Glass right now,
You
but I have
should.
a list. I know, but I have a list. And I want to stick to it.